This sweet treat underway. We're going to be using strawberry jello and orange jello because I ate up all the orange, so I'm going to show you how to do this. So we got a package of the kind with the sugar in because that's what I prefer. You can do whatever you want, and I saved this guy. We're going to be turning it into candy too, but I saved this guy because it was so big. Found a massive jelly mushroom, and it's just real so big. I still need to clean him up, but I just had to share that with you guys. All right, so let's get to this. And I ate all the orange ones, so we're going to be doing that one again. So let's do the orange one right now. So we're going to use a whole package. And because this is a candy, we want it to be very sweet, right? Because candies are sweet. I just want to make sure I'm getting it in frame. All right, so there we go. That's it. Just a little bit, but enough that we can dissolve our, gelatin. Normally this would take 2 cups. We're using about 1/2 cup. Of boiling hot water. Just clean that up. And that little bit of sugar up. And I think because we've got a little extra here, I think I'll do a layered jelly candy. It's not something I've seen before. Apparently I am just sending it flying all over the place too because, yeah. This is going to be so good. Now, if you want it to be a harder, more long-lasting candy, then put it in your dehydrator at about 35 degrees centigrade for a couple of hours. Not a long time, but enough to get that crusty outer layer set. Or you can just store them at room temperature in the open air and they will naturally, slowly dry out as well. I've done both. I've done it both ways. You can get a firmer jelly if you dry it, and you get a softer one if you don't. And in fact, the very best way, in my opinion, if you're just going to have the jellies and you're not going to dip them in chocolate, is to eat them right away. Alrighty, so I'm going to pour that and that. Looks like I've just got enough for 2. So any excessive water that I might have is going to evaporate. So that's why I wasn't really all that, okay, we're going to do exactly this much. Because I dry them out. So I'm going to bring some over, and I usually put these in the refrigerator to set. So let me show you, make sure those are in camera, a finished jelly. So here's my jar of finished jellies, and I'll show you the difference between the ones that were air dried and the ones that were dried in the dryer. So these were obviously done in the air dryer, and these were this method, this, you know, add hot water, liquefy it, and set it. All of these were. And these were air dried, which is what I'm going to do with these once they're set, is I will cut them and let them air dry because I like the look of it better. It's a little softer and it's going to look a little prettier when we dip it in chocolate. And of course these little blobs were my witch's butter, and you can see those videos. And I did put these in the dryer. But my favorite by far, after all of these different ways of making jelly candy with my jelly mushrooms, because that's the one thing this winter that I've been pretty good at finding. You can see the little jelly mushroom in there. Right there. See that? It's pretty cool. So we're going to dip a few of these into chocolate. I'm just going to pause this while I get my chocolate all ready to go. All right, so this is my favorite chocolate bar for eating. This is what I make my chocolate bombs with. This is what I make my hot chocolate with, because my hot chocolate is basically cream and chocolate. That's it. No cocoa powder, no powdered milk, none of that business. So I do a Swiss chocolate. I find that the countries that are colder have the better chocolates because there's less wax in there and it melts at body temperature, which is an amazing thing. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So I'm not sure if this is going to need to be tempered, but that's what I'm going to do because it's not exactly like a melting chocolate. And normally all I do is that should be enough for now. And normally all I do is melt it anyway. So we're going to use my little lazy egg guy. And we are going to break up the chocolate. It's got a nice snap. Now I do 15-second bursts because I don't want to overdo my chocolate. So I'm just going to use the microwave for this. I'm not going to use a bain-marie or double boiler at all. Okay, pause. What's going on here? Pause. So there's my chocolate. And after about 40 seconds or so, we get this, and we'll just use the rest of the heat. The reason I use this kind of pan is that it doesn't heat up. All of your heat goes right into your chocolate. So we're just going to mix this until it's body temperature, which is, when I touch it, it isn't going to feel warm. It's just going to feel the same temperature as me. I'm sure there's a better way to do it, but now when I was growing up, my mom made lots of chocolate, and I grew up in a very hot area. So summertime, even spring sometimes, was quite warm in the high desert. And so we would add wax, usually just plain old paraffin wax, which I didn't really like. And then I didn't really enjoy the chocolate nearly as much as I have some of these chocolates that I've discovered since I moved abroad. And they are absolutely wonderful. The Swiss chocolates are good. The Swedish chocolates are good. If you've ever been to IKEA, you have to try their chocolate. It's really, really good. So creamy. So delicious. Just, yeah. Now, this is not going to harden up on you. So you don't have to worry about working fast like you would say with like a melt and pour soap. So go ahead and take your time and move the chocolate until it's ready to be used. So every once in a while I'm going to taste it. There are no hot spots. As soon as that last little bit finishes melting, or not, we can be started. So it really doesn't take that long when you just have a small 100-gram portion like this. This is like candy bar and a half size if you're using regular size Lindor balls. Now I've got a tray here and I've got a drip station below. I'm just gonna put some either food wrap, I've got food wrap handy, or you can put perf. Parchment paper. Just don't want to throw away all that yummy chocolate, and that you can either eat or put into another treat right away. Okay, so I normally use a dipping tool, but because I want these to be exposed on the tip, we're just going to go ahead and do this. So just go ahead and let it drip till it stops. And then we're going to put it on there to dry. And these are my chocolate covered strawberry mushroom jellies. Oh, that looks delicious. You can kind of flick it so you're sure it's done. There we go. Put the thick end in there. They kind of look like chocolate covered strawberries, but they're like chocolate covered gummy bears, really. And if you like chocolate covered gummy bears, you'll probably love these. Now, remember when we made these, they were made with just dry Jello, so they're going to have a completely different texture. There we go. So we have Valentine treats, very special Valentine treats that took me weeks and weeks to collect, but worth all of the me time, definitely. So I got some me time, and then I have some beautiful things to share with my friends and family this Valentine's Day from that, which is really cool because as a novice mycophile, it's rare that you actually find stuff. Here's another one. This one was rolled in sugar and Jello and then dried. And they're both delicious. They really are. Okay, so we popped them out and we're going to leave these to dry for a little while. And in a day or two, I'm going to chop them up and cover my chocolate as well. So as I reflect on all the fun that I've had by myself, I can share some of that with the creations that I make from my gatherings. And I've made some beautiful medicinal salts that we're also going to put in bath, and culinary salt, which is just amazing. This is just the right temperature, so it's really not, I'm not losing much at all, which is great. And then of course, makes a liar of me right there. Now I am not going to dip all of these because frankly I enjoy a little bit of I prefer my jellies just jelly. I like that crunch. I like that. These dried jellies are really yummy. Although I may change my mind after I taste one of these. We'll see. If I have lots of chocolate to dip with, that's for sure. I'm just going to go over to Michael's and get some chocolate packaging supplies. And we'll put a couple of these in the little boxes for my friends, for my family, so they can enjoy this interesting journey with me or not. If they have any kind of reservations, well, I will just save them more for me. If you enjoyed this, please click like and subscribe, and come on back to my culinary and soapy kitchen anytime. Bye for now.